Welcome to another edition of Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and today I'm joined with Keith Sarasin of the Farmers
Dinner.
The Farmers Dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, when I heard about the Farmers Dinner,
Yep.
I thought that is a great idea. It's a great local thing.
Thank you.
I was thrilled to have you on. So again, welcome. So tell us a little bit. What is Farmers Dinner?
Sure. The Farmers Dinner is basically kind of an event that first started in 2012. It was an idea of bringing local farmers together and bringing the community involved to really kind of give back and say thanks for all the fantastic work that they do in our community. As you know, we have unbelievable farms in this area. We're really blessed for that.
Right.
So we wanted to give back, and it started as a night to honor the local farmer at Saffron Bistro in 2012 with Chef Joe Drift. And so it was awesome. It actually sold out. And it was through that we kind of had the idea that maybe we can bring in local farmers and have them tell their side of the story of what it's like to be a farmer in the 21st century. And it's been a really crazy 2 years, but it's been fantastic.
It really sounds, when we get into this, I'm sure it sounds like a fun date.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's funny because it's not just a farm-to-table dinner. It's really an experience. It's an event, and the feedback has been amazing. So it's fun.
You got this idea. You let's honor some of the farms, and
Sure.
obviously around here we have Sullivan, we have Lull Farm.
Yep.
There are other farms.
Absolutely.
How did you approach the farms and say, hey, look, how did you do that?
Well, I have a culinary background, and so I always noticed that there was a disconnect between consumer, restaurant, and farmer. For instance, little-known statistic that our average meal travels 1,500 miles until it reaches our plate, which is unbelievable when you think about it, especially seeing the bounty that we have here.
Right.
And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring the farm into the restaurant and kind of bring that marriage back so that we could really reconnect with the farmer and the people who grow our food. And so that's how it really got started. I approached the farm and said, we would love to honor what you guys do here. Thank you for what you do. And I brought them to the restaurant, had them talk with the chef, and that's where some magic was born. They did some great stuff.
What was the first farm that you approached on this?
First farm was actually Brookdale Farm.
Brookdale Farm.
Yep, and Rick Hardy over there was fantastic. And then we approached Lavoie's Farm right after that, worked with Dave over at Lull Farm, and then the numbers just continued to grow and grow.
So you're actively this is skyrocketing, basically.
Yeah, we've run. See, at this point, we've run 12 dinners since its inception, and every single one of them has been sold out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was talking off camera that I was on Facebook today, and somebody said, if you just back off from buying something at the grocery store, and then going to the farm, you might pay their rent for a day,
Right.
or a month. It
Yep.
might help out, and it'll keep them going.
Right.
And that builds community.
Absolutely.
And that seems to be a main theme about this show. We're connecting with all kinds of community outreach on all different levels, whether it's, obviously what you're doing right now, or positive street art,
Yep.
things like that. And this sounds like a really cool way to get to know your neighbors.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's really the core of what we try to do. Not only are we bringing in local farmers, but the people who come to this, we want to give them a sense of community. The tables that we set up are all home-style seating, so it's not like, you go into a restaurant, you're kind of ostracized from other couples.
Right.
We don't do that. We want you to break bread and to get to know your neighbors, so it's a lot of fun.
That's cool, breaking bread. That's cool. Now, some of the farmers will sit with you?
Absolutely. We have, on average, 4 to 5 farmers at every single dinner, and that number changes, and the farmers change at every dinner, too. So if you go to one, it's not going to be anything like the other ones that you'll go to. And we strategically place them at different areas so that they can interact with the crowd.
Now, what is a typical interaction? And as a plate of peas go by, hey, I picked those. You know what's really interesting about those peas? I mean, is that what happens?
Kind of. So what we do is we showcase every farm that we work with. And so a typical evening starts with me getting up and giving a formal welcome. From there, we have a projection screen that shows the farm itself. It shows all about what they do. A lot of farms have CSAs and promote different types of projects and produce that they do. So we allow them that as well. And every farm has a different and unique story. And the mantra of the Farmer's Dinner is a story in every bite. And that's really what we try to do. We try to tell the story of the farm.
So, we were talking a little bit, and you said that each farm does have a story.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the different flavor between, say, Lowell Farm or Brookdale?
Sure.
What's unique about them?
Well, number one, the individuals. Every person has a different philosophy of farming, whether you're a biodynamic farm or whether you're an organic farm or a low pesticide spray farm. You'll hear all these things in the media as healthcare and all that comes up. But for the most part, there's a ubiquitous thread that runs through farming, and that tends to be, what is it like to try to compete with some of the major supermarkets nowadays? Years ago, I was talking to a farmer, and he said when his father owned the place, people for Valentine's Day would come into the farm and they would buy roses for their sweetheart, and that was a way that they would make residual income, pumpkins, things of that nature. But
Right.
now people don't necessarily do that. Supermarkets are a one-stop shop, whether it's pharmacy, produce. There's no seasons in supermarkets. For instance, tomatoes typically are in August, but in a supermarket, you can get a tomato in January.
Yep.
Like it's just normal.
Well, I routinely, on a weekly basis, buy strawberries. At Costco.
Absolutely. And strawberries traditionally are a June crop. And so there's that veil that's almost pulled over in the supermarket. And it's interesting because if you grow produce and strawberries are only in June, what's going to happen is people are going to say, oh, we're super excited, but it's May. Why can't I get my strawberries? And they're going to go somewhere else for that.
Right. Well, Lowell Farm has the apples, and of course, then they have
Absolutely.
other things that, maybe some fresh bacon,
Yep.
Eggs, and other things that may be year-round, which is it's a cool idea.
Absolutely.
I was in Costco the other day, too, and I happened to notice that in the wine section, LaBelle, and I thought,
Yeah.
they're local.
Yep.
Yay, good for you. And they made it into the Costco, which I thought was a really cool idea,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
When-
so the farms must do the same thing. I would hope they.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of regulations that anyone growing produce or harvesting meat need to follow, and that's a whole nother subject. But it's advantageous for anyone who creates a product to get into a major store. Whether that happens or not, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes for that to happen.
Now, a lot of the restaurants, they're not really going to be obviously McDonald's or Chili's
Right.
or Texas Roadhouse.
Correct.
What are the typical kind of restaurants?
Well, we really embody the local, holistic kind of approach to things, whether that's working with local farmers, but we also love to work with local restaurants. We've worked with, Napa East in Nashua. We've worked with Unum's. We're starting to branch out this year as we have 10 different farmers' dinners on the books for this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. So we're starting to go out toward Dover, a little bit south into Boston area, and things of that nature as well.
Are you moving a little north too, towards the
Absolutely.
Concord area?
We've done Bedford before.
Yep.
And there's some places we're talking to in Concord. Huge fan of a lot of stuff they're doing up in Concord, like food co-op and things
Right.
of that nature.
That's right on Main Street.
Yep, which is beautiful. I was in there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Had a blast.
Yep. That's interesting. So that's and this is. I mean, do you have to? Are you booked? I mean, is it hard to get seats? Do you have to?
We typically sell out. What we do is on our website, thefarmersdinner.com, you can purchase tickets. And what that allows you to do is kind of just get your reservation. We typically sell out after we make the announcement within the first 2 to 3 weeks. So
How do you pick your farms?
we actually personally visit every farm we work with.
Wow.
And that takes, to be honest, the majority of our time. We feel that the farms and the restaurants are the heroes here. We're just trying to highlight and celebrate what they do. And so with the farms, I'll go out. We'll spend close to a day with the farm, going through their operation, taking pictures, helping them promote their message, and really getting to the core of the story about why they do what they do and how we can help support that.
So you say, Dave, listen, I want to look at your Lowell Farm.
Yep.
And you've got apples, you've got all these other products. Now I want you to meet somebody from Stella Blue, or
Yep.
how do you do that? What's all that look like?
So what we do is once we kind of get a tour of the farm, we talk about their core philosophy. We say, hey, well, what's in season for you guys, and what looks good. We have the farmers go. For instance, last year we were working with Carl from Kimball Farm, and Carl would say, oh, this peach season, it looks amazing, and he would take us around, and we would see just the most amazing peaches. Last year, peaches and apples abundance of them. And so we would say, okay, well, we'd love to feature this. It's an amazing crop this year. We'll take a produce list to the restaurant, and we'll talk to their head chef and say, here's what our farmers are looking at. We'd love to get you guys in a room together. We allow the restaurant to feature what they do.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, we want to highlight them, and really, they're going out on a limb to host such a fantastic event. But that says something. When a local restaurateur says, we believe in your product, we believe in local farms, that makes a pretty big statement.
And then you develop a customer relationship with them.
Absolutely.
And
Not only do we, but the customers who come to the farmers' dinners. We've seen customers go back time and time again to a restaurant they've never even stepped foot in simply because they hosted a dinner.
yeah, with the price of fuel going up, and it is going up, and they're looking at legislation for fuel prices to pay for the roads.
Right.
If it's traveling 1,500 miles, it makes more sense to, let's see, let's look and see if we can, we got farms like right there.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you turn around here.
Right.
They're not big. You spend an extra $1, but there again, it's better quality.
Absolutely.
People are talking about the quality of the soil and stuff. Now you're a chef. When you, right, you've been a...
Yeah, I absolutely was for 5 years now.
So you bring in a farmer, and what goes through your mind as a chef? What do I put on the menu? Is it going to be what I traditionally do, or am I going to have to create new dishes?
A lot of times, at least on my behalf, working with fresh ingredients, it starts with the ingredients. Any good chef will know if you're taking frozen chicken out of a package, you can dress it up, but you're not gonna make it fantastic. And so it starts with the freshness of the product. Once you have that, a lot of chefs have a traditional menu. You go to a restaurant, they'll have specials, but it's typically your laid out menu. What we do as a farmer's dinner is that's a night where everything changes for the chef. And so we want the chef to be comfortable and to be creative with the menu. I try not to interject whatsoever when it comes to that. And we allow the chef to be an artist, because at its core, a real good chef marriages science and art into this beautiful dish that you get to enjoy.
I noticed at Sullivan Farm they have, I think they're called Highlander cows.
Yep, Highlanders.
Actually, we had Hill Farm come on here at one point to talk about that particular cow.
Awesome.
So I'm wondering if the chef actually comes out, or if the farmer comes out and says, listen, this is the Highlander cow, and as you can taste, do they do that?
Absolutely. What we try to do is chefs are busy, restaurateurs are busy, but we have an outstanding invite for any time they want to come out and see some of the farms that we work with. And we bring them pictures, we bring them to the farm when applicable, and we really want them to have that connection. And at the end of the day, that's the important part. When the farmer's dinner leaves the restaurant, we want the restaurateur to say, that was a great experience, let's continue to source from them.
Right. Now, do restaurants continue to do this? Do they have it as a regular function now? Well, it was a success. Let's rebook these people.
We've been really fortunate. Most of the restaurants, I think probably all of the restaurants that we've worked with at this point have reached out to us to continue to do a farmer's dinner, and our list continues to grow. There's so many hours in a day, so that's been fantastic. What we try to do is we've noticed that the restaurants we've worked with, they'll add small things to the menu. They'll add different produce. Maybe they'll source their strawberries. And it's really fantastic. And at least in my opinion, my work, I get to go, all right, we got another one. Because that money goes right back into the pockets of the local economy, which we believe strongly in.
Right, and we really have to start focusing on that for sure. So what would be the most unique farm, the most unique event that you've hosted? Is it like, come to the sunflower thing or whatever?
Right. We, honestly, this is going to sound like maybe a little trite, but like every dinner we do is really unique. They're not turnkey, they don't, there's always unique things that happens, because at the end of the day, it's not a wine dinner. Right. It's not where, okay, we're going to taste these things and then talk about them a little bit. What we do is it's so much interaction with people. We have different farmers at every event. And so one time, for instance, we've had Steve Normandin from Normandin Beef out in Litchfield, and he's been fantastic to us. We had him come out and talk, and his philosophies of organic farming are much different than another local farmer. And so to sit at a table and hear them talk and have that discussion, we feel is so important. It's the education side that we always try to really hammer home.
Yeah, you know, farming is hard work, and it is definitely it's a lifestyle. I've never been a farmer, but I've worked. You remember Rodonis's farm?
Donuts.
It was out in Litchfield area. There was a
Okay.
Rodonis's farm. I remember as a kid, we had to go pick beans for 50 cents a bushel. That was hard work, man.
It absolutely is.
And then they were fertilizing the soil. And I remember way back when they used to they'd take all the leaves and they would mix it with the chicken dung.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would grind that into the soil. And they had the best soil.
Yep.
But it took years of experience for them to know how to manage their crops.
Yeah.
But I don't think Rodonis is around anymore.
See, it's great because that's a fantastic story. Stuff like that we try to highlight.
Yeah.
And those things are fantastic because that's the way it should work. A lot of times, you know, nowadays, that's not necessarily the way it works anymore when it comes to soil, fertilization, and all those things. But that at its core is what farming is. It's incredibly hard work.
Sure.
And I always, you know, tilt my hat to the farmers and say, you guys are fantastic for the work that you do.
Yeah, and you're just scraping by. Some years you
Yeah.
have, and the climate's got to have something to do with it. We have a really bad winter this year.
Yeah.
You think, well, maybe we'll have a lot more blossoms like we did the previous year, and have a good, return. But some years they don't make it. So you've got to support them, otherwise they go away.
Absolutely.
In apartment buildings.
And that's scary to think that, some of my fondest memories are being a little kid walking through apple orchards in Hollis and hearing that crack as you turn an apple and you sink your teeth into this wonderful creation of nature. And to think that could be a parking lot someday is scary.
Well, it just flashes, New York.
Yeah.
Right? You go to New York, you go to all the fancy restaurants, they're shipping up from upper state.
Yeah.
And they're buying locally for the most part, unless it's caviar or something, whatever.
Right.
But why not do the same here in New Hampshire?
Yeah, and that's I really feel that farming is the kind of the quintessential backbone of what made this state so fantastic. And with all the bills and all the politics that go around with farming now, it's so important to support, the farms that we do have to keep them around for future generations.
Right. So what's the next event that's coming up soon? Is there anything happening in the near future?
Yeah, we so our season starts in May of this year, at the end of May, and so we're limited by the growing season, just like a farmer is as well. So from December through May, it's our planning phase for our company, and so May is going to be our first farmers dinner out in Dover, which we're super excited for. First time we've been out in Dover, and to work with some folks out there.
You want to drop the name of the restaurant, or?
Okay. Yeah, we're working with the Orchard Street Chop Shop, and Kaz over there. He's fantastic. They have an unbelievable restaurant there, and he's just been so accommodating for us. So we can't wait.
Is it already sold out?
No, we haven't even had tickets go on sale yet. Cool. That's going to be the first one of the year, and we typically it's about 5 weeks before the event that we start selling tickets.
So if somebody wants to keep track of this, can you get on an email list or something?
Absolutely.
Or is there a website?
Yeah, absolutely. Thefarmersdinner.com. You can go right there, and there's right on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that there's a way to sign up for our email list, and you'll get first dibs on all tickets.
First dibs.
Yeah, so that's the easy way to do it.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Now, it's May, and then when does it typically end? Like September, November?
Yeah, we try to go through November. It depends a lot on climate, depends on what the season's been like. But what we try to do is, like I said, everything's sourced so locally that if we had a good growing season, typically in November, we can get away with having one more dinner in the beginning.
Well, I wish you a lot of success with this.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you'll have the problem of having 2 events at the same time.
Hey, that's a great problem to have.
Right. Well, wonderful. And again, what is the website?
Thefarmersdinner.com.
Thefarmersdinner.com,
Yep.
And check it out.
Absolutely.
Do you have a Facebook page too?
Yeah, we do. It's facebook.com/thefarmersdinner. Super easy.
Wonderful. Well, Keith, thanks for coming on the show. I think we're going to look forward to seeing that in the near future.
That'd be
maybe
awesome.
My wife and I will be at one of those.
We'd love to have you anytime.
All right. So
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And thanks for watching Gate City Chronicles. Check it out. Support your local farmers. We hear that all the time, but here's a way to do it. And also, it helps out your restaurants. It keeps the economy going here in New Hampshire. And we really need to do that these days. It's a community, and we want to support it. Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. And we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark Dean of Clean, the carpet cleaner in Nashua. You can reach him at 603-630-1743. And if you would like some more information about Gate City Chronicles or want to be a guest, contact me at gatecitychronicles@gmail.com. Until next week, thanks for watching.